All right, so this week I've got a Who the Said That. Are you ready? You ready?
Ready.
Thinking caps
Ready.
on. Here we go. You know, as bad as those things are, at least they're predictable. It's the normal people that scare me. Do you know who the said that?
Was that Crane by any chance?
Crane from Dying Light?
Dying Light?
That's incorrect. No, it was not.
Ba-boom.
Greg, does that ring a bell?
It does, but I'm trying to think. Is it something from The Last of Us?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So I probably couldn't tell you who said it, but yeah, it sounds like The Last of Us.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'll read it again. You know, as bad as those things are, at least they're predictable. It's the normal people that scare me. Well, Greg has hit the nail on the head. It is from The Last of Us. We'll find out exactly who the said that at the end of the show. So let's get on with the show. This is episode 219, and today is Thursday, the 28th of June, 2018. Welcome to the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast. I am your host, and here with me is my co-host and very good friend, Snoogs. How are you, mate?
Good, mate, but guess what?
What?
You forgot your name again.
Did I just say I am your host?
You did.
And here with... It's written. I have it. It's written. I'm reading it. I always just ignore my own name. I don't know why I do that.
Well, you know who you are, so that's all that matters, isn't it?
I do know who I am. You know who I am. But I guess I should. I am Lucas, and here with me is my co-host and very good friend, Snoogs. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you for calling me out on that again. All right. Also with us this week is the guy that thinks that hardcore mode is a tutorial, Grejio. How are ya?
Yeah, good. I guess that's true sometimes.
Is that a little bit nicer than the dude that drinks coffee out of a straw or butters his bread on both sides?
Yeah, look, you're making me sound less retarded.
I thought I went a little bit hard the last couple of weeks, so I thought I'd go in there and go, no, he's awesome.
Yeah, I think I've got a few Twitter followers just because they felt sorry for me. Just going, the special little guy, he's trying hard.
Him and his straws and butter.
But yeah, no, I'm good, man.
Awesome. Good. All right, no Rem this week. She's sitting out because she's a little bit under the weather. It's been coming. So poor thing's tired. She's got things. She's got sleeping to be done, if that's at all possible. But we'll have her back as soon as she's ready and raring to go. But anyway, before we start, here is this week's show in preview. First up, we will do video game discussion, and then we've got Who Dat. Is that one?
Who Dat?
Who Dat?
Who dat?
Who Dat?
I never get the
You're like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
I want some more. But anyway, then we'll do What's That Sound? Then we've got a new segment, which I've been thinking about this segment for a long time, but it kind of got spurred and pushed ahead by Rusky Big Muskie asking for more. So here we go with a new segment called Tech Headland. Strange name. I might explain where that name came from.
It sounds like the new HBO series.
It's, okay, maybe if HBO want to pick it up.
It sounds like one of those crime dramas, it's like HBO's new series, Tech Headland.
Dung dung.
Dun, dun.
We're all on the same.
It's on Netflix.
That's it. And then after that, we'll do last word. So first up, let's get into video game discussion. All right, now, first, I want to make a quick callback to the week that we just had with... did you guys happen to have a listen to the pilot episode of the podcast that I released on Monday?
I did.
Did you listen to it all?
Most of it. I think I got most of the way through.
Okay, it's about 40 minutes, and oh my god, how unenthusiastic am I? Yeah, how you going? This is a podcast by the Aussie Gamers crew. We've got myself, Luke One, and Reprimir. I felt like I was in a classroom. Say hello. Say hello to the listeners, Reprimir.
I like the constant apologies as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look, we just really don't know what we're doing, eh? Not much has really changed in that aspect. We're still just come along and dribble, but...
We're just unapologetic now. We don't care.
Just don't apologise anymore, yeah.
Yes, but back in those days, I didn't own an audio editing program. All I had was an audio recording program. So there was no... The first... I don't know how many episodes we were in, probably 40-odd. I didn't actually edit the show. It was, we recorded it, what was said and what happened when in the show. There was, and I kind of prided myself in that. I think that's how you say that properly. But I took pride in that fact that it was a fully unedited show. You know, obviously that sort of changed after a little while, and I actually got some editing equipment.
After Thorncliffe come along and his filter gets turned off.
Well, I had to edit it, so...
Love you, bro.
So I had to edit when he would speak, because if people were listening to it in their cars and stuff, they'd blow their speakers with his deep voice.
Yeah.
God, he's got a deep voice. But anyway...
voice and a head for radio, that boy.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've been listening back to a few of the old episodes, ready to bring them back, because I'm going to bring back a few of my favourite episodes. And just before the podcast started tonight, you made a mention to NVIDIA. And that reminds me back to a few episodes where Sean and I got into, or Thorncliffe and I got into a debate about how it was pronounced, because he likes to call it NVIDIA. Like it's a word, and you got to pronounce it NVIDIA. But anyway, we had quite a few arguments over how words are supposed to be pronounced, like iOS. You got that? You also say iOS, you weirdo.
Yeah, because I passed 3rd grade. That's why I don't use them.
It's not a word. It's 3 letters.
Depends whether you classify it as
iOS,
an acronym or initialism. So if it's initialism, it's just iOS. But if it's an acronym, you can say it as a word. So it becomes iOS.
Yeah, good argument. Whatever.
That's the main difference between an acronym and initialism.
Oh, very good. I like it.
Yep.
But anyway, they were funny. That was the point. Those arguments were so funny. They were pointless, but they were hilarious. So there's more of those original episodes coming, and they'll be released exclusively on the Aussie Gamers Express YouTube channel. So check them out. There'll be another one coming on Monday. Radicus is in the chat. Good evening, sir. And he's written...
Good day.
I think he's written it phonetically there, and he's written NVIDIA, which is, yes, very good. Just moving on from the podcast there, also Mr. Raticus, or Kleno, he suggested that I try a mobile game this week, and it's called Soccer Stars. I invited both of you guys to it. Did you get the invitations?
I got the invitation, but I haven't gotten to it yet. It does look kind of fun, though.
Oh my God. It is addictive as sin, because basically picture a game of soccer, top down, like mix and match with foosball, air hockey, and snooker, because it's kind of like you can bump them around.
It's more correct. It's actually more accurate. It's actually an Indian game called Carom.
Called what?
Carom.
Oh, there's an existing game.
So it's not quite the same. The rules and the field of play is slightly different. It's more designed for a soccer field, but there is a game. It's a physical game, and you have a board with 4 holes in each corner, and then you've got these discs that you've got two colored discs, and each player has a color, and you set them up kind of like snooker in the middle, an arrangement, and then you've got another larger disc, and you flick that, and you got to try and knock your discs into the holes before the other person does.
Okay, so it's similar. It is
Yeah.
very similar. Now, Radicus has said, "Hate you, you cheating diver," because I kind of handed Radicus's ass to him in most of the games we played. Well, it's not that I'm not undefeated, but I do hold my own. I've gotten pretty good at it, but I have played it a fair bit. Is it like Shuffleboard? Is Shuffleboard the name of the game you're talking about?
Well, no. Well, that's a different game again. That's, the one you play. That's the one you play on ship decks.
Oh, that's right. You said the
you
name.
Push it with the stick.
The Indian
Yeah,
one. What was it called?
Yeah, Karam.
Karam.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. But anyway, I recommend it. Soccer Stars. It's on iOS and it is on Android, and it is free. You don't have to buy the microtransactions, but no doubt a lot of people will. You can log in using your Facebook. It hasn't posted anything on my Facebook page that I haven't wanted. So that's a good thing. Some of those stupid apps will post heaps of advertising. It doesn't do that, but it allows you to send invitations to your friends to play. It allows you to send free coins and receive free coins and gifts from your friends. And yeah, it's a great game. You can play online with your mates, 1v1, and it's basically a whole lot of free fun. So I suggest give it a go. Speaking of these iOS games, I played what?
You almost said iOS, didn't you?
I did. Oh, Radicus has just said stops you getting off the shitter. Mate,
That's true.
I have won many a game on the shitter.
It's just like real soccer. After you finish, you got a limp.
Yes, for different reasons, of course.
Of course.
But another iOS game that I tried out was Fortnite. Now, I went on a drive on the weekend just gone and went up to visit some friends in the Central Coast. And I had my iPad and my daughter was using the Nintendo Switch. I wasn't sure last week, I think it was, whether or not you could use iOS in the Fortnite sort of mix, except for PS4. But you can. So you can play with PC versus Xbox versus iOS versus Nintendo Switch. They are all compatible. They all link up. It is amazing, and it worked really well. So we're playing in the car. How amazing is that? So she tethered off my iPad, my daughter, on the Switch, and I played off the iPad, and we played Fortnite in the car on the way to a holiday. It was good. It worked.
Very cool.
Impressed. Another thing I did this week: Wii Sports Bowling. I got a Nintendo Wii off a friend of mine, and I set it up and played some bowling. That bowling game is amazing still. Have you guys played Wii Sports Bowling before?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Hey,
many times.
You like
Many,
it? It's
many,
good,
many
isn't it?
times. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
I can't believe
Yeah, we
how
still
well
dig it out
those...
mums every now and again.
Yeah, I can't believe how well that Wiimote works. You flick your wrist at the end and it spins the ball, and it was so accurate. That Wiimote was way ahead of its time. I can see why the Wii was so popular. But anyway, yeah.
And to be fair, there are a few games that were on it that highlighted how good it was, like Wii Bowling. Wii Bowling was actually one of the better ones because you had such fine detail of movement that would get picked up. Like most of the other Wii Sports games, it was just like thrashing around, like boxing and tennis. You just flail your arms and hope for the best. But you could really finesse in Wii Bowling, and I loved it.
Yeah, tops. But yeah, I had some fun with that last week. But the biggest thing of the week has been the Steam sales. Oh my God. I've got a small list here. I couldn't list them all that I bought because I just couldn't remember. Because, it's kind of like you know, you wake up into the middle of the night and you go to the toilet and then your brain thinks, oh, hang on a minute, 2 a.m, the Steam sale kicks in. I might have a look. So then it's like 2:30 in the morning and you're buying shit on Steam. And then you forget that you bought them. This is just a couple of the things that I bought. Just Cause 3, Fallout Tactics, Rage, Splinter Cell Blacklist, Quake 2, Hellblade Suenna's Sacrifice. Now there's more. I have bought other things, but I can't remember what they were, and I haven't had a chance to go into my massive Steam library to find the ones that I've actually purchased. But oh man, I've played a fair bit of Just Cause 3. That is hilarious. You can put these like mines on people or on cars, but they act like a little thruster for about 30 seconds before they explode. So you can offset them on cars and they'll spin around, or you can put them underneath the cars and they'll fly off into the air. Or that Just Cause 3 is good fun.
Are you a gamer? What are you putting them on cars for when you can put them on a cow?
Yeah, I did that too. I put it on a goat. I jammed one of them so far up the goat's ass that it lifted off as far as it could. It probably hit the imaginary ceiling.
Yep. Flame wings for forced barrel rolls.
That's exactly right. Just quickly going back to Radicus here. He said it sold the Wii. He's talking about the Wii controller. I agree. It did. And set it up in store, and even oldies bought it. Yeah, well, if you get people to try awesome technology like that, they're going to buy it. So I spent... Well, I bought all those games, and I probably didn't even spend $30 or $40 on all that sort of stuff. Fallout Tactics. I bought the wrong one, didn't I?
Well, depends what you're talking about. Like,
because
I love Fallout Tactics.
Because it's rubbish.
What?
It's rubbish. No, look. Let me clarify. Let me clarify. We don't need to go into an hour-long rant about this, but
I'll listen.
That game aged hard.
Look, you can't. That game came out when I was in high school, man.
Yeah, it opens up a DOS box when I open it.
Yeah. So look, you had to kind of go into it saying this is an old game.
I did.
And
then by the end of it, I came out of it saying, "Yep, that's an old game. It's also shit now." I can't play that game, man. Can't.
What makes it shit? I'm curious.
Oh no, just not like the animations are like there's like 4 frames total to like the entire character's movement. and I'm not bashing the game saying that it's rubbish in general. I'm just saying compared to what I play today, I can't sit there and handle that. It's just like one of my most favourite games in the world is Metal Gear Solid on the PS1, but I can't play that today because of the outdated way the game works. It's
fair
painful.
enough. Like I can accept that, but I can still play it because I still love that game.
Yeah, and
I put up with it.
Like implants and stuff in your head by Bethesda, but
clearly not, because they totally fried when Fallout 4 came out. Obviously.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that wasn't a Bethesda game. That was made by that other company, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Rage. I'm like.
No. Yeah, let's move on, shall we?
I got Rage. I bought Rage. It was like $4 or whatever it was. I'm like, let's give this game a go. You know, I want to see what you were talking about when you were talking about the tech was ahead of its time. It doesn't work. It's broken.
Its tech is no longer ahead of its time.
Well, no, but it literally doesn't run on my PC. It runs at about 12 frames a second. And all of the textures pop in and don't work properly. So I haven't been able to fix that yet. So
to be honest, I'll tell you what, I think I've still got my copy of Rage. Now I can't remember if it's on PlayStation or Xbox, but I'll give it to you.
No. So I can't play it on last gen. No. I may as well play it at 12 frames on the PC. But
It's really not that bad.
look, mate, when I've got all these games at my disposal, it's bad. It's bad. I'll try and fix it. Splinter Cell plays amazing. I've just maxed everything out on that, and it runs at 60 frames at 1080 on the PC, which is great. Quake
I think
2,
Rankus is correct.
what has he said?
You're a frame snob.
Yeah, 100% I am. Yeah, it's 2018. Get with the times. Quake 2, I loaded it up and I went, oh yeah, cool, I'm in. I changed the settings and broke the game and haven't been able to do anything more with it. So
Because you tried to up the frames, didn't you?
No, I tried to up the resolution because it was at like some bizarre windowed resolution, 420 or something. Hellblade Suenna Sacrifice, I haven't tried it yet. That one I'm going to save until I've got time to actually play it properly. Let me skip a few things. Pokemon Go added friends and gifting this week. So you can add friends and you can send your buddies stuff, which is cool. So I played a little bit of that. You guys go.
Destiny 2.
Uh-oh.
There's a free weekend coming out this weekend. So if you haven't already played it yet, obviously by the time you guys are listening to this, it'll be halfway through. But it's from the 29th of June to the 1st of July. You can download it, play it, have a crack at it. At the same time, it's also Faction Rally Week. Having said that, anyone that's playing on the free weekend probably won't be leveled up enough to play in the Faction Rally. However, that'll be going on around you, so there'll be lots of people playing. So, yeah. Did you want to say anything more about that, Snoogs? I know you wanted to have a chat about Destiny 2.
Yeah, I've been belting about Destiny 2 this week, solely on the PS4 because that's where I've got all the DLC and whatnot. Finally got through a raid.
You finished a raid? Cool.
Yeah, finally got through it. Was actually I've joined up with a new clan that was looking for members, and there's a group of people that are pretty much on at the same time I am every night, and literally as soon as I turn my PlayStation on, there's an invite that comes through. Hey, you want to come and do another one? And they took the time to talk 4 of us through. My character was light level 340. They're all 378, 380 plus. So I was the lowest level, and they talked through what to do, how to go about it. Pretty much covered my ass when it needed to be, and got all the way through it. And it was actually really awesome for them to take the time. I think they walked 4 of us through. So out of the 6 people that were in the team, 4 of us hadn't done it before.
Oh wow!
Once you kind of get to that level and you've done the raid enough times, it's actually not that bad. Not necessarily carrying, but journeying. Sherpering. Let's call it. That's what it's called. Sherpering.
Yes. A lot of the difficulty comes from not knowing how to do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
And things like the Nightfall as well. I think I did 4 or 5 Nightfalls one night because it was taking us 8 minutes to do a Nightfall.
Yep.
Because they were just stick on my hip and follow me, and you're just literally jumping from place to place, and then knowing the shortcuts and. Instead of taking the time to try and kill everything on the way, you'd literally shoot the last boss and that was it, and move on to the next stage.
Yep.
And it was brilliant how quickly it was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was heaps of fun.
Very good.
And Iron Banner was on too. I think Iron Banner's on again this weekend, is it?
No, it's Faction Rally this weekend.
Faction Rallies.
Yep.
Well, I finally got the Iron Banner helmet, so I got the first one down, first part. Other than that, I'm going to jump in Black Ops 3 on the PS4. So that's the sneaky little freebie that come out of E3 for PS Plus members. I don't suck. I really thought I would suck at it, but I was able to actually hold my own, and in one multiplayer round, I actually ended up finishing second.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Very quick. It looks gorgeous. It runs gorgeous. I haven't started the campaign side of it yet, but Yeah, the multiplayer has actually been a lot of fun. I think I'm having a bit of a multiplayer run at the moment.
You know
I'm
what
really
I
enjoying
think
them
when I play a multiplayer game and I'm like, man, I don't suck. And then the grim realization is, damn, my team must really suck.
I don't think that's actually true. I think it's easier to be better when you have people that are good supporting you.
Yeah.
When I find if I'm carrying a team in multiplayer, I don't tend to do as well because I don't have the people watching my back. So I tend to get ganked a bit more and stuff like that. When you're playing with a team that's just as good as you are or better, you tend to find that your KD goes up because you don't have the same people working their way around behind you, killing all the other I won't say terrible, but just the less competent players. And just getting on your flanks and stuff like that. I find that it does make it easier when your team is better.
Other than that, I've taken a bit of a trip down memory lane.
Oh, you did too. Tell us about it.
So in the late 90s, a game was released and then very quickly banned in Australia. A game by the name of Postal. So Steam sales are on. It's gone past however long it needed to.
You got you too.
And so I've been attacking this Steam sales as well, and picked up Postal Redux, which is what they call it, like a rejuvenated version. So it's still very much the same. Yeah, it's kind of like a redo, but it's more just a facelift more than anything else. So the premise of Postal is going off that old phrase, which is going postal, losing your shit, taking everyone out with a rifle. So you play just whatever, a bloke that's walking around shooting anything that moves. You've got coppers coming in to try and stop you. You've got people running around screaming, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. And it's quite graphic for what it is.
This sounds like Hatred. You remember that game?
Yeah, I've played Hatred as well this week. Hatred pretty much got its idea from Postal.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff. The main reason for Postal being, like, when you look at it now, it's nothing compared to a lot of the stuff that we see now. But you can commit suicide in it.
Oh my god!
And you can execute people. So what will happen is, you'll shoot someone, injure them, they'll be on the ground screaming and pleading for mercy, and you walk over them and put a few shots in them. And then to quit out of the game, he goes, you push another button and turns the gun on himself. So
this is a terrible game.
It's a pretty terrible game. It solely was a trip. As soon as I saw it, I think it was 99 cents.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, all right. I haven't played it for 20 years.
Oh, it's 3D. I thought it was top-down.
No, Postal Redux is a top-down. Postal 2 and 3 are 3D.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Postal 2. My bad. Redux.
No, Postal Redux.
No, it is a top-down. Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Top-down. Yeah. So it's kind of isometric sort of look. Yeah, so it's pretty full on. And like I said, I have played Hatred as well. I'm not going to get into that because that's even worse. But it was just I thought I'd play it because I've got the updated PC now, so I thought I'd see how it runs. Yeah,
looks like you could have run this on a potato, dude. It's just what Radicus says. Apparently you can piss on people.
Yes, in Postal 2 you can.
Okay, that's disgusting.
Yes, it's pretty full on, hence the fact that it was banned in Australia all those years ago.
Yeah, I can see why.
Mm.
And the classification boards are worried about taking pills.
Yes.
Oh, God. Bigger fish to fry, people. Bigger fish to fry.
Yes. So, more games that are having free stuff.
Ooh, woo! Free stuff's good.
All right. So,
it's a secret, though.
Hello?
It's a mystery. Greg.
I think he's gone. Has he dropped out?
all right. We'll come back to Greg.
Come back to Greg.
I've got PlayStation Plus games for July coming while we wait for Grejio. Black Ops 3 is still available, and it will be until the 11th of July.
Nice.
And the new games for July will be Heavy Rain, Absolver. I've never heard of Absolver. What is that?
That's a very good question, and one that I will find out next week.
Absolver. I'm looking at it now. The graphics look kind of cool. It's kind of arty. Looks like it might be an RPG, maybe. The combat, I don't know. I'm just looking at what are they called? Screenshots. Yeah, screenshots.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. It's probably something I'm going to try. It looks good, and then I'll probably go, nah, it sucks. But I'll at least give it a try. It looks all right. Rayman 3 HD for the PS3. Deception 4, The Nightmare Princess PS3. Space Overlords for... I don't know. What's a PS Vita? I don't know, but you're getting a free game for that. And Zero
PlayStation
Escape...
Vita.
PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, I'm joking. Yeah,
right. Okay,
sorry. Because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's one of those aeroplane jokes.
Yeah, right.
You guys need a nap or something?
Just out of curiosity, did I just cut out?
Yes,
you
Matt.
You cut out well.
That's why we moved on from your...
Yeah, sure. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Hopefully I wrapped up my free stuff conversation. But...
No, I think you were talking to yourself with all that, because this whole time I've been talking about the PlayStation Plus games.
So what did I tell you?
In a second, I'll catch up. Let me just finish this off so I don't forget. The last for the PlayStation Vita is Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma. So that's the PlayStation Plus games for July, which are coming. And probably next week we'll have the Xbox Gold free games to share. Greg, all you got to say is, I've got something to say about more free stuff. That was it.
Right. Wow. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Battlefield 1 is getting a free DLC.
Yes.
It's called Turning Tides. It's already out. Then there's Battlefield 4 Second Assault is DLC for Battlefield 4. That's also free. It's coming out. Unravel 2 has a free trial until the end of July.
Oh, good. I haven't bought it.
It gives you 10 hours of gameplay. So, and then obviously after 10 hours is up, it'll boot you out and you decide to buy the game or not.
Isn't it like a 12-hour game?
Well,
apparently it's the first 2 levels.
Yeah, I think you've got 10 hours to play the first couple of levels as many times as you like,
Yeah, something like that, yep.
Wouldn't that be funny if you finish the game in the demo? Oh, well, fucking don't need to buy that.
Yeah. And then, speaking of something that hasn't got content coming out, Friday the 13th, people have been asking, are you going to bring out more maps? Are you going to bring out more characters, more stuff? And the developers have said, finally, no, we are not. The reason being that there is a lawsuit between the writer, Vic Miller, and the producer and director of the original movie, Sean Cunningham. They're having a pay/copyright argument at the moment. And for some reason, while ever that is raging, the developers can't make any new content for the game. And they've pretty much turned around and said, with there being no end date in sight for the court battle, we can't afford to just sit on our hands and wait. So we're just saying right now, we're not doing anything else with it. Enjoy it as it is. We'll obviously do things like patches and stuff like that to hone the gameplay that's already there, but there won't be any new assets, no new characters, nothing, no new maps. It'll just be as it is. And yeah, other than that, they're going to be moving on to their next project. So that's a shame.
Maybe not a bad thing, but anyway. Speaking of lawsuits, PUBG Corp drops the copyright lawsuit against Epic Games for Fortnite.
I was going to say, you're going to bring up Kramer versus Kramer, aren't you?
No, because I don't know anything about that. I've got some likely reasons why, because I read around and look,
I've got a good one.
I've got a. I was going to say I did a fair bit of research and couldn't find any reasons. Look, the truth is, I looked at one website and they didn't know why the copyright lawsuit was dropped, and I just went with that. I just went with that. So I made up my own reasons as to why they likely dropped the lawsuit. Now, the first one here is PUBG Corp finally realised that they're part owned by the same company, so it doesn't really make sense to sue your bloody self now, does it? So that could be
part of the reason, yes.
Yeah, that could be part of the reason or the main reason. Or PUBG Corp realised that Fortnite has made so much bloody money that they could probably buy PUBG over and over again and still have lunch money.
Less the reason, but so.
Or the probably the most likely one is they probably settled out of court and they can live happily ever after now. But I don't know. Do you guys know?
No, they haven't settled out of court. From what I've read, it's the first thing, which is they're part owned by the same company, and also that PUBG is pretty much using the engine that belongs to Epic, who created Fortnite, and so they've essentially gone, this is kind of an unwinnable. This is going to be a lose-lose for us. So
because I mean, they could do the whole you want to play that game, okay, sue us, and now you no longer can use our engine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or they just looked out the window and saw Minecraft hitching up its pants. All right, mothers, let's go.
Either way, it was stupid.
You want to play that game, do you?
It was so stupid. Like, there are so many games out there that are very similar to PUBG. Like, is H1Z1 going to go and sue them both? You know, like, it's so dumb. There are so many now. That's the world we live in. There are always going to be clones. Yeah. Live with it. Make yours better than the rest. That's all you need to do. If you can't do that, there's no point in stamping your feet going, well, I'm going to sue you then. Too many suing.
Well, I've got something else down the legal path to have a look at if you'd like.
Yeah.
The Australian Senate, that wonderful bunch of people. Yeah. They're set to investigate loot boxes in gaming.
Well, let's hope that they're as effective as they've always been.
Yes. So, Senator, I think it's John Steele, he's moved that the
Max's
next day
brother.
of sitting... Yes. Next day of sitting, the Senate will discuss that the video game monetization mechanic known as loot boxes, which generate random digital rewards in exchange for real money, are similar to gambling and may not be appropriate for younger audiences. So he cited a couple of different papers from Nature Human Behavior called Video Game Loot Boxes Are Psychologically Akin to Gambling. The fact that the Netherlands has put in a ban on loot boxes, and the Belgium Gaming Commission and the Dutch Gaming Authority has ruled that some loot boxes are in fact gambling. This is the next thing to go through to be investigated. What do you think?
Oh, look, just get rid of them. Be done with them.
I'm sort of over them now. I don't really care. They're optional. I just won't buy them. And if a company decides that they want to throw them into the game and it essentially ruins it, well, I'm just going to play something else because there's always going to be something better. You know?
Yeah. Look, the other thing is, at the end of the day, they're going to turn, regardless of what they do, but they find that they shouldn't be there, or they can be there, or whatever. The fact is that Pandora's box, the ultimate of loot boxes, is now open. And these game makers have already realized that they can make money off this content. And if they can't make that money through loot boxes, they'll find another way of making it. Yep. So, I think it's...
Hashtag Fortnite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It won't be a loot box anymore. It'll just be straight out, here it is, buy it. But while we're still on lawsuits and whatnot, did you hear Bethesda is suing Warner Brothers?
Yes.
Did I? I don't know. Maybe. What happened?
So Bethesda is suing Warner Brothers over their new game, their Westworld game. which they are claiming stole the gaming code from Fallout Shelter. Now, people are going, well, how do you know? The problem is that the Westworld game has, in its early stages, had the exact same bugs that Fallout Shelter had in its early stages. So they're pretty much turning around saying, oi, we've caught you. Now we're taking you to court. So
found it.
Should be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's a very similar game.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. So many people suing, so many companies suing other companies.
It's that time.
Dog eat dog.
It's the suing season.
All right. What else have we got?
Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah.
On Mac, the DRM has shut down. So it is now unplayable for anyone who purchased it to play on Mac. There's no server.
There are two people out there that are pissed off right now.
Yeah, that's right. Trans Gaming, the people who created the servers and the DRM, their company is shut down. So now there's no server. And the way they created it was you had to have some kind of online connection to play it. And since their servers are now down, the game is now unplayable. So people that bought it are now screwed. Thanks for coming.
Jerry,
so all those that are still
Samson,
playing games on Mac, get with the times. Get yourself another version of something. Go get a console. Go get a PC. Go do something.
Go get something that you can game on.
So
wow.
Sorry, guys.
I owned a MacBook once.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that the end of the story?
That's pretty much the end of the story. The most impressive thing about that thing was the battery life, but I suppose my Nokia 5110 had a great battery life too, because it didn't fucking work with anything. It didn't do anything, so the battery lasted a long time.
Well, yeah, it does when it's a glorified nightlight.
Yeah, because it's got the Apple symbol on the back. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah, a couple of people upset about that one.
My last little tidbit of gaming news for this week. Need for Speed Payback, as I said last week, had its June update, which put a whole bunch of new cars in rotation for abandoned cars. This week, it's a police car. So if you're still playing or you like the idea of having a police car to run around in, go find it.
Sounds like hard work to me.
It's not. You just go on YouTube. There's about 1 billion people that go, oi, it's over here. Go watch the video, go find it, drive it back to your base and go, yeah, I got a police car.
All right, well, I've got a couple of others. We Happy Few has been banned in Australia.
Naughty! But, slap your hand for being bad.
Naughty. But the censorship board, review board, whatever, classification board, that's the one. They have put out a kind of like a bit of a call for help, let's say.
Please, we're out of touch. Give us some help.
Please, so give us a clue.
They've literally asked for a clue, so they're going back to review their decision, and they've asked for public submissions in regards to it.
This is a pretty much step in the right direction. I like this.
I thought this was a fantastic idea. So much so that it's laid out some pretty specific rules on its website. That it's only in regards to We Happy Few that you're allowed to contact them. Anything other than that won't be listened to. And if, like, an individual or a company wants to be in standing with We Happy Few and the developers, then they're to put their names forward, which we, as Aussie Gamers Express, have done. So we've emailed them and said what we believe to be the correct way that this should be approached, and asked for feedback as well. So hopefully that'll be, I think it's the 3rd of July that they're going to review it. By the time this comes out, submissions will be closed, but there is details on the website if you wish to go and have a look at it. And fingers crossed that this is an actual step in the right direction, that they're actually looking for more input on people or from people with the knowledge and the experience to actually make a informed decision instead of a knee-jerk one.
Yeah. Look, there are things that I think should be censored, regardless of the audience. But
yes,
We Happy Few, from what I've played and what I know of it, and from what I understand, the reason why it was refused classification in Australia is based on the pill popping and the positive side effect to popping those pills, finishing the game and getting an achievement and all that sort of stuff. Really, are we really in need of protection to the point where we shelter ourselves from drug use? Drug use is so...
You can get Valium over the counter.
Look, it is an everyday thing that adults are all very aware of, whether they take part in it or not. It's a thing. And even if you look at... look, I'll try not to turn this into a massive rant, but drug use doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. If I've got a headache, I will take some what's the stuff? Paracetamol?
Mm-hmm.
To get rid of a headache, to make me feel better. Drug use isn't necessarily a bad thing. Yes, I know that this game's a little bit different. It's not exactly that you had a headache or whatever. It's suppressing feelings and all that sort of stuff. But I just think there are other things in this world that we should try and focus on rather than censoring video games for this kind of stuff. Drug use, putting a pill in your mouth, whatever.
Yeah.
When you've got games like Postal, blowing heads off, pissing on people. God.
Yes, for $1. Two more little things from me. Sony has finally responded to the demands of players for cross-play.
Oh.
So it's not...
Yeah.
It's not as positive as...
It's not this, is it? We've heard you, we've listened to you, this is our reply.
It's a little bit more eloquent than that, but yeah, it's pretty much that.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's very much...
They didn't step anywhere. They literally said, this is where we are. We've
This
provided
is
you with...
No, this is something new. This is something from today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so the Game Lab conference in Spain is on at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And Eurogamer is obviously over there. And they were speaking with Sean Layden. Now, Sean's one of the guys that you always see out the front of the Sony presentations and everything like that. And he's asked him specifically about, this cross-play. You say you're for the players, but it seems you're not actually listening to the players. His response, he's gone, look, I can give you a short comment on it. His comment was, we're hearing it. We're looking at a lot of the possibilities. You can imagine that the circumstances around that affect a lot more than just one game, talking about the whole Fortnite thing. I'm confident we'll get to a solution which will be understood and accepted by our gaming community, while at the same time supporting our business.
Wow. Is he going for Prime Minister or President of his country?
To me, that sounds very similar to the line they took like a week ago. That once again, that doesn't sound like they've moved anywhere. That's just political. That's mumbo-jumbo.
Yeah,
saying the same thing in a different way.
That's answering a question without answering a frigging question.
Yeah.
That's like when somebody says, what do you want for dinner, chicken or fish? And you go, yep.
Because that was literally their excuse last time. It's got a greater range of impact than just, one game, so we have to look at it. And then they turned around and go, well, to be fair, we have given you crossplay because you can play against iOS and the Android. So take
and
that,
PC.
And PC, sorry, and you should be happy with that, so leave us alone, essentially. And to me, I feel like Epic should just go, sweet, well, we'll make Xbox and Switch crossplay with PC and iOS. And so what you do now is you shift it over to iOS, and then you can shift it over the Xbox. Yeah, it's a bit of a fuck around, but at least you get the crossplay you want.
I will make a bold call right now that if this kind of attitude follows on to the PS5 and whatever the next Xbox is, and we get out the next Nintendos, and the Nintendo, the PC, the Xbox, then the smartphones are all cross-platform with a lot of games, and PlayStation is still on its own, PlayStation 5 will fail.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't tell me that's not a massive selling point. There will be the diehards, and there will still be a big platform there because PlayStation do have awesome IPs.
I do have one scenario where that may not come about. However, we can talk about that in your new segment, because your new segment will be about next-gen consoles.
It is about next-gen, yeah.
That's
what we're talking about in Tech Headband.
Yeah. So we'll discuss it then.
Sure. All right.
Cool. Well, last thing from me is the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit.
Oh, yes. How did that go? I haven't played it yet.
It's not a game for me. I'll be upfront and honest with that. It's just the pacing. It's just not for me. The game itself, though, it's beautiful. The art style is very good, and it's unfolding into an extremely touching story. And it does take you back to those times being as a kid, completely and utterly vivid imagination, and making so much of the world around you when there's nothing really there. So the story's good. The gameplay, though, it's too slow for me. Even when you sort of put it up like what's the game it's an offshoot of?
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. Yeah, so it's more like it's an interactive story more than anything else.
Okay. What it sounds like is that you might know personally somebody that made the game, and you're tiptoeing around the fact that you think it's shit. Is that true?
No. See, I wouldn't say it's shit because everything works. If everything was failing, then I'd flat out call it shit.
Well, what you said the story's good. What's it about? Because that trailer did nothing for me. I'm like, well, what? People are clapping for this. I don't know what that was about.
So you play a little boy who lives at home with his father. Couple of slight little spoilers, but this all happens first, few minutes of the game. Your dad's a bit of a heavy drinker. It seems as though your mum's gone. I don't know why just yet.
She's under the patio.
And could be.
That's not. I've not played the game. Not a spoiler.
No. And so you're this kid that sort of goes into your own little world as Captain Spirit, and you get to go and make yourself a little a costume, and you've got to go and find bits around the house to make your costume, and you go and have adventures. So you go all around town, having little adventures, finding things, looking for you've got to go and look for your gold. You go out to your little tree house, and there's a bear thing up in there that you talk to. That's one of your captains that's looking out for the bad guy, and blah 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 blah. And it's pretty much a story about a kid being a kid and having that imagination. There is a very heavy undertone under it, which I'll leave it for people to play. But it's there.
Is it the full game, or is it just the first episode that's free?
So far everything I'm seeing is it's a full game. It says that it's a demo on the store, but it also says that you can play it. And sorry, I got some information from Bandai that said, you can play it from start to finish without, having to pay for anything. So I haven't finished it yet because I couldn't get through it.
Because boring.
It's just not for me. I'm very much enjoying fast-paced, stuff at the moment. That's where I'm at. So
I'll try and have a go at it, and I'll be honest, brutally. when it comes to it because it sounds like shit. But I don't know. I'll keep an open mind going into it, and we'll see how that pans out.
Anyway, it's free on everything, so give it a crack.
We'll do. Okay, is that it for video game discussion?
That's it.
Cool. I'm scrolling up and down. I don't see anything more. If I've forgotten stuff, tough. Next week maybe. Let's go into Who Dat?
Who Dat? Right, so for those that have forgotten what Who Dat is about, I'm going to describe someone within the sphere of gaming, and I'll give you some clues, and the clues are supposed to get progressively easier, but last time proved that sometimes doesn't happen.
Yes, and also last time proved that this could also be what dat.
Hence why I've clarified something or someone within the sphere of gaming.
Yes.
You got to listen to the rules.
I heard you, but the name of the game's still a bit putting off-ish.
All right, so
let's go.
And these two jokers have to guess who I'm describing. All right, so first one. Who Dat? Well recognized for his tutorial talents.
Grejio. The tutorial slayer is what we called him. Yes, that's another blast from the past, that one, the tutorial slayer. Who came up with that?
I think it was Red.
I think it was Red. Called him the tutorial slayer.
Unfortunately, Thorncliffe and Grejio is not Who Dat.
It's not Who Dat, okay. All right.
So number 2. Shared history with rich Uncle Pennybags from the Monopoly board game.
Ooh.
Is that the Monopoly guy's name?
Yes, rich Uncle Pennybags.
the little paperclip.
What?
The Windows paperclip. How can I help you today?
No, it's not Starchy or whatever his name is.
Yeah, no.
Clippy?
No, Clippy. Clippy has an evil twin with a mustache called Starchy.
Oh, okay. Wait, can you just read that hint, that second one again?
So, shared history with rich Uncle Pennybags from the Monopoly board game.
Ah. No, I don't know. I don't know who that is.
All right. Made cameos in Run Like Hell, Hunt or Be Hunted, and Rage.
Oh, if I'd only played Rage this week and it worked.
You still would have had to found the cameo.
Oh, I would have. I'd 100%ed it by now, but it was broken.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not true. No, I've got no idea, man.
Now, I don't particularly like this clue. I'm just gonna put it out there. I didn't write these clues. I'm gonna reword this one in my head because I'm not sure it works.
Blaming the
So
writers.
give me a. No, I don't want to blame it. It's just when I read it, I go. I think it's a little bit.
Rem, you're being blamed.
Blamed.
I'm not blaming you.
Blamed.
Who Dat?
You know what? I'm just going to stick with it, and I don't care.
Okay.
Has a vast collection of bobbleheads. Yeah, see, I think
Fallout guy.
Fallout guy.
Wow.
You know what? Unless you can give me his exact name, I'll give that to you.
Oh, his exact name.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll give you the last clue because you're already there. Mascot of Voltec.
Boy.
Vault Boy.
Oh boy, there we go.
I think I said it first.
You think?
Hold on, let's go back to the replay.
Vault Boy.
Vault Boy.
Oh boy, there we go.
Mate,
Vault Boy.
I can edit the show to sound whoever I like. Vault Boy, right.
A shared history with the Monopoly guy, eh?
Yeah.
I believe so. Like I said, I didn't read these. I didn't write these, but apparently she found out.
There's probably a Fallout Monopoly, maybe.
Well, I think that's what she was aiming at. I think she's been a little bit cryptic with the there's definitely been a Fallout Monopoly.
Yes, there is.
That for sure.
Yeah, there is. And that's the reference. I've just Googled it, and the Fallout sorry, what's his name? Vault Boy is on the front of the Monopoly there. So.
Yep.
But yeah, that's who that is.
That's who that is. That's your first who dat. All right, ready for your second who dat.
Let's bring it.
All right. First appeared in 2007.
PlayStation 3.
No. Appearance and personality based on Daredevil, Johnny Knoxville, and actor Harrison Ford.
Oh, Max Payne.
No.
No, that's...
I'll give you the next one.
Oh,
Treasure Hunter.
I know who this is. Oh,
Yeah,
that's Nathan Drake.
Yes. Created by Naughty Dog, voiced by Nolan North. Very good. Yep.
Why did I say... What does Max Payne?
Maybe because you heard Max Steel before. Max had got stuck in your head.
Did I? I don't know. I will concede. You said that one before me.
All right.
So
this is a tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
Oh. Let's see this one.
Come on, Brain. Don't let me down now.
American from Seattle who graduated from MIT with a PhD in theoretical physics.
Sheldon Cooper.
I don't think he didn't graduate.
Pac-Man.
He's not from Seattle. He's from Texas.
Yep.
Who that?
Had a fight with a crab infestation.
Vault Boy. Crab infestation.
Favored the use of a crowbar.
Oh, that's... what's his name? Come on, Brain. Gary Freeman. Gordon Freeman.
Yes!
I think Gary Freeman's the dude that empties my bins on the Wednesdays.
He was employed at Black Mesa Research Facility, and he...
Who the fuck's Gary?
Wore an HEV suit with Lombarda insignia. So yes,
Gary Freeman, I think, was a footballer.
I don't know. You're going to have to search who Gary Freeman is, but yes, you're right.
That's close enough. That's close enough.
Yeah.
I looked over and saw Radicus wrote Gordon. I'm like, shit, not Gary, you idiot. Gary's the Garbo.
There we go. So Lucas wins this week's Who Dat.
Oh.
I seriously don't feel victorious.
You feel like someone that's like tripped into a win.
Yeah, dead set. What's his name? That ice skater, the Australian ice skater.
Yes, you Stephen Bradbury that. Is it Stephen or Stuart?
No, it's Stephen. Whatever. Oh, I need a second.
Who needs them?
I need a second to get oxygen in my head. Laughing too much, I'm about to pass out. Oh dear. Righto. That was Who Dat.
That was Who Dat.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. And my head's going to pop. I think I'm going to break my headphones because my head's swelling. Not from pride. Not from pride. All right, let's move on to the next segment, which is What's That Sound? Alrighty, what's that sound for last week? Let's get this one up and playing. Let me just make some quick adjustments. And away we go. So you guys remember that one for last week. It was beeped out because Snoogs got it correct. It was from Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and it was Lion's Gadget. His little sound effect when he... I don't know, what does it do? Do you know what it does?
It highlights the enemy.
Ah, there you go. That's what that does. It sounds like he's cooking.
You can hear the highlightiness at the end.
Yeah, there's all sorts of highlightiness going in there.
They all highlight.
There was one person other than yourself, Snoogs, that got that correct, and it was none other than Stickfigure. Gets himself a free plug for Down Under Gaming's Xbox and Chill podcast. Check him out. I figured he'd get it though, because he's a big Siege fiend like yourself. All right.
Yes, I've been debating whether to get it on Xbox. If you run.
Yeah, well, we can all play it then. All right, this week's What's That Sounds. Are you ready? Not sounds, there's only one. Ready?
Ready.
All right, have a listen to this one. What do you think that is?
Oh, son of a bitch! I know this one. It's
Speak to me like
it's off
that.
the Wii. It's off the Wii. It's
Is
a
it?
Nintendo game. It's a Nintendo game.
Nintendo Wii game.
It's like it's some bollocks like that.
Isn't it just off the...
Yeah, it's where the character jumps up and down and
says, "Yeah, I
celebrating.
won."
He's celebrating. Yeah, it's definitely.
Say it 1,000 more times so I have to beep everything you say out.
It's. That's going to be a long beep.
Yeah. I'm just going to get a new algorithm that can just lock onto your voices individually and just cut out everything you say. I'll call it the Interruptatron, nicknamed Lucas.
Nickname, shut the hell up, Greg.
Yeah. Shut up! You're correct. Shut up! Well done. No, well done. That was a bit easy because I did talk about it. There's a little bit of a hintsies for those that haven't got it yet. Have already talked about this game. Well, that's it. That was bloody quick, wasn't it? That was What's That Sound for this week. If you think you know what this week's What's That Sound is, then send us a message to our Facebook page. And if you're correct, there's a good chance you may find yourself the recipient of a free game. Right. Let's move on to the next segment, which is our new segment called Tech Headland. Okay, now this new segment, Tech Headland, is something that I worked on. I'll give you a quick rundown of where the name came from. I was working on a project ages ago that I was thinking about kicking off, where it didn't really go anywhere. But I had all these assets and all these ideas, and I eventually was moulding it into something that I wanted to use with Aussie Gamers Express. And it slowly turned into an idea for a segment, and yeah, as I said earlier in the show with Rusky Big Muskie, he sent us a message saying this is just some ideas and blah, blah. I said, oh, look, that sounds a lot like what I've been doing for Tech Headland. Not exactly, but then I thought, bugger it, let's throw it in and give it a go and see what people think of it. Because I think this segment will be good, because what Tech Headland does is it's taking a slight step away from video games, but it's still video game related. I can pretty much guarantee that the topics that we're going to talk about will be appreciated by gamers. Okay, so we're going to be talking about tech and video games some weeks, and talking about things that we know, things that we want, things that we don't understand, how do things work, the tech side of things, and you'll see. All right, so there's going to be a topic, and this week's topic is next-gen consoles. Okay, and then so on and so forth. There'll be a different topic for every week. So let's talk about next-gen consoles. We'll talk about starting off with some features that we want, some features that we're expecting, features that we would like but probably won't get. What I think of is, the first thing that pops to mind is streaming. Now, it's something that a lot of people like to do, but do you guys agree with me that the streaming capabilities of our current gen consoles is very, very vanilla?
Yes, very
totally.
At the moment, on both the Xbox and the PlayStation 4, you can put a webcam in the corner, and you can put like a border around with it with the chat, which is very, very simple. What I'd like to see is the ability to use or customize some overlays. So being able to putting up a transparent chat chat window, as opposed to having, you know, on the PlayStation, how it shrinks the screen down.
Yep.
And you just get that black bar at the side, which has all the comments from your viewers. That is so bad, and to the point where it doesn't even have word wrap. Have you noticed that? What's it called? Notepad on your PC? You know, that really basic text that has word wrap on it. Why can't the PlayStation 4 have word wrap? Because if you've typed a word that is too long for it to fit on that line, it cuts the word in half instead of bringing the whole word to the next line. And it makes it hard to read, and it's rubbish. I would like to see some more features like that, so you can customize your stream up and make it a little bit more, just a little bit more professional rather than just you're streaming from your console. That's lame. What have you guys got anything in mind as for feature wise? Now, anything. So, you know, like this could be, like a different style of chat, friends lists, and the layouts, the way your games are set up, and all that sort of stuff.
Me personally, not specifically. I tend to be one of those people that I like how things are when they're happening. I don't tend to, channel towards change too much. If it works, if it's not broken, I say don't fix it. But the way through innovation is to continually change and try and improve and all that jazz. And that's what they're going to do, and that's fine. But me personally, I don't have anything in the current gen that I sit there and go, yeah, that doesn't really work. I agree with you that probably more around streaming, those kinds of things, they can be better refined, but then that's because they're, in the grand scheme of things, relatively new in the console world, as opposed to some of the other things like desktop layouts and how things are, how your user interface and stuff like that, and what's the word I'm looking for? Intuitive kind of features around that. I think they've got them pretty well nailed, to the point where you look now, and PlayStation and Xbox now at the end of this cycle are very similar layouts, because they've pretty much picked up on each other's little nuances where they go, ooh, they did that better. And they've, chopped and changed until eventually they've kind of the same now. So
yeah. What about you, Snoogs?
Yeah.
You got any thoughts?
Radicus has just put one in the chat, which is something that I would prefer. So our consoles are pretty much in standby mode constantly now.
Yeah.
I very rarely actually turn them off. But every time I turn it back on, I can't just jump straight back into a game.
Hang on, what?
So
Why not?
how do you not do that on your Xbox?
How do you not do that on your PlayStation?
Neither of them do it.
Mine
They
does.
both take it back to the...
Mine does.
No, but
Okay.
you know what this might be what you're doing wrong. If I'm playing a game, so like let's say I'm in game right now,
Yeah.
hold the PlayStation button down and hit rest mode.
Yep.
The next time I turn it on, it will load up back into that game where I was. If you exit to the home screen, it'll load back up to the dashboard, or whatever you want to call it. But then if you go into the game, it'll then open up. It should go back. It should go back to the game. Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
If it's not,
It
you've not got it set up properly.
Yeah. All right. Well, something's wrong there.
Yeah,
But,
that should be a thing.
Yeah. Other than that, feature-wise, I'm not too. I'm very much like Greg. I'm pretty easygoing with both of them. Not a fan of how the Xbox is laid out. I do much prefer.
You're not a fan of what?
How the Xbox is laid out,
Oh, the dash.
like the dash, the user interface for it. I do much prefer the PlayStation style of setup.
Well, the Xbox, like when you're on your home screen, that all of that stuff on there is the most useless stuff to me because I never use it. The only things that I use is when I press the home button and it brings up that little thing, and I go to my apps and games, or I go to my pins. I don't use anything that's on the dashboard on the home. I don't think
Neither do I.
it's a waste.
Yeah, I'm pretty much my apps. That's it. And then your friends list or something like that.
But there's nothing like it's literally the last 4 games you played, which if you're playing a game constantly, you're just picking up the same game anyway, so it's still sitting.
Yeah. So it's sitting there in the center of it.
So literally, I have like 2 games I rotate around and Netflix, and I can pick them all off the home. Anything else I've got on my pins, which is on the next drop down. So it's all there. I don't know why. Isn't that what you want? All the things that you use constantly on your home?
I don't play things constantly, though.
Yeah, I'm different things all the time.
Yeah, so I'm always flicking through things.
But then you've like literally, it's one click down, press X. Press A.
No, I'm not saying it's an issue to do that. I'm not saying it's an issue to do that. Going into the little pressing the home button and all that. That's not an issue. I'm just saying that real estate in the home area, I think, could be used better. Because I never use it. It may as well be a black screen to me. But
wasn't there one stage where it was like
I use it for everything, so it's just the way I've got it set up.
Yeah. Wasn't it at one stage though where it was like the Windows 8 setup?
Yeah.
Or even the Windows 10 setup where it was just pins all over the screen.
The 360 was a lot like that.
Yeah, something like that I'd like, but that's just because I will literally I'll turn it on and I do it with the PlayStation as well, where it's just you're on the home screen and I'll just flick across all the games that I've got installed just to see what stands out to me. And I do it with the Xbox where I go into the my apps and games, and again I'm just flicking through to see what's there, and something could jump out at me and I'll play that, and then I'll play it for 10 minutes and go back and play Fortnite. It's that's probably the only thing tweaking wise. The chat parties are at a point where they work, they're easy. There's nothing really too much about it.
Yeah,
and
recording stuff's easy as well.
All that's very easy.
That's really easy now.
Yeah. Well, the PlayStation 4 needs to fix their HDR feature, because at the moment, if you record gameplay with HDR turned on, the footage that you get is oversaturated and looks like it's ruined. You have to turn HDR off, whereas you don't have that issue on the Xbox One or the One X. Radicus is saying that he would like smaller, less intrusive updates. That's not coming. I can pretty much promise you the updates are going the other way, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which means that if you want that to be the case, you have to leave your Xbox in sleep mode and auto update.
Yeah.
So it updates at times when you're not using it.
Absolutely, that's the only real fix for that. Kazakal's just popped into the chat and said, "I love you guys. I'm sorry I can't stay in chat." No worries, buddy. You take it easy. We'll chat another time. All right, what about expected performance? Yes, the frame rate snob is back. Everybody's talking this current generation with our halfway gen refresh, or whatever you want to call them, with the PS Pro and the X, the 4K and all that sort of stuff. I think we're there. The 4K is good enough. Okay, a lot of them are checkerboarded on the PlayStation. And a lot of them are 1440p or 4K on the Xbox One X. That's great. Let's focus more on some frame rates, yeah?
I think that's a reasonable expectation of next gen.
We've had the majority of the last generation, so the PS3, Xbox 360, at 30 frames. We've had partial 30 frames, some 60 frames, some variable frames. This generation, I think it's time for next generation to hit that benchmark of 60 more often than not. And if we can't give us the option to switch between a performance and a visuals mode, make it a little bit more PC, where we can change the visual settings a little bit to get better performance. That's something we need. We need better performance. We've got the graphics cards in them. We need the CPUs. Ryzen is an affordable CPU and a powerful CPU. I want to see Ryzen CPUs in next generation.
I reckon it should be locked at a minimum of 60
for next gen. Yeah.
If you can't get the game to perform at 60 and perform well, then it doesn't get released.
Fix it, make it work.
Fix it, make it work. Exactly.
Yeah, I watched an interview before the podcast tonight with Phil Spencer that he had with Giant Bomb, and this is what's making a little bit of movement in my pants towards Xbox for next gen, because Phil Spencer, he was explaining that he feels that frame rate is something that should be improved for consoles moving forward. He shares my opinion, my feelings towards frame rate. There's been a lot of time and effort and advertising put into 4K. Now let's get the frames up there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I played a game earlier tonight with 1,300 frames on it.
what?
As in, that was the sum total of frames, and you went through them like that? Or...
Just flick through them. No, a little free-to-play game. What was it called? A Walk in the Woods. And it was running at, 1,300 frames.
Was it just a stick figure walking through the woods? Or?
No, it was a little 3D, dude.
Yeah.
But there was nothing else there. It was the woods and it was dark. And it was, but it was smooth.
Do you know, I watched a video this week on, it was one of those Digital Foundry videos on frame rates and motion blur in games and how motion blur is really important. That good video, look it up. Digital, no, what are they? Well, I just said the name. Digital Foundry. And the importance of motion blur. And they were explaining on that to have a true realistic feeling, you would actually need the game to be running at 1,000 frames per second. But you'd also need a monitor with a refresh rate high enough to display it to give a feeling of realism. I don't know. That's what they were saying, but I'm happy with 60. I'll put the link to that video that I'm referring to with Phil Spencer in the podcast show notes, so in the description. So go and have a look if you want to check that video out. It's pretty cool. Now, what about backwards compatibility? Is this something that we should have from day dot, and is it important to you?
Look, I think this is my prediction. Xbox will, because they've made such a big thing of it this time.
Yeah.
They'll know. And to be fair, I'm going to say it right now, the market's going to want it regardless.
Well, I think it's more important at the start of a generation when there's not much out.
Agreed. But they're gonna Xbox is gonna do it. They'll do it. Whether PlayStation does or not, I don't know, because they don't seem to be all that worried about it.
But do you want
like so many other
PlayStation?
things? Me personally,
PlayStation might.
I'd happily have.
Radicus says, "Yep, it's good. He wants it. He also wants easier to access USBs. Yeah, they are a pain in the ass at the back
Please
of the
do
console.
not put them diagonally underneath the console."
I want it, and yeah, what are you going to say? PlayStation might have it.
Early reports that I've found floating around, and might be a bit of hearsay at the moment, but PlayStation Now, that's the streaming service that's pretty much through Europe and the US.
I did hear something about that.
They're looking at options to actually make it a downloadable service.
Yes.
Like Game Pass and things like that. So, and a lot of stuff that's on PlayStation Now is a lot of PS2 and 3 stuff.
Mm.
So it's that could be the way that they're going with it, where, it's not going to be, put in an old disc and it'll run, but they might be able to have some sort of emulator running on it where you can just download a digital copy and do it. So I think that's there. There's been a few little hints from PlayStation, especially, just after E3, where I think one of the quotes was that they're going to take a knee to move forward or something along those lines. So that could either be for cross-platform play or for the backwards compatibility, I think.
Did you say take a knee to move forward? That sounds like what a few people have done in my experience in the workforce to get a promotion.
No, that's two knees.
Oh,
that's two knees to move forward. Yeah.
No, they're talking about the football reference of take a knee, not not get on your knees.
Yeah. Not pucker the lips. No.
Take one knee, not two.
Yes. So there's a few little things. Me personally, I can take it or leave it. I'm not too overly fussed with playing a lot of older games. They seem to frustrate me more than anything else. And I'm more than happy just to leave nostalgia in the back of my head. But the market wants it, then the market wants it.
Yeah, I think it's more important at the start of a generation to have backwards compatibility, because There's not a lot out. There's only a couple of launch games. You might have 4 or 5 games. Not all of them are going to appeal to you. So you might be left with one game that you probably aren't even really that interested in.
Can I make one comment here?
No.
You're both sitting here saying, I can take it or leave it. I'm happy to leave nostalgia in the back of my head.
That's not both of us. That's Snoogs.
Yeah, all right, okay. But you've literally both spent the last week playing old games because you've literally gone on Steam binges.
You don't paint me with the same brush as this bloke.
Sure.
I'm talking about the console.
Yeah, no, you did say you wanted, but I guess. But all right, so it's aimed at Snoogs. All right,
good.
You can't say that when you've literally just been playing Postal and everything else you've been playing this week. I've forgotten now, but you know,
just Postal. Yeah,
was it just Postal?
Yeah.
Sure. But see, that's what I'm talking about. It's those moments. That's why you have backwards compatibility. I didn't go back and play games I hadn't played with backwards compatibility. I went back and played games that I'd already played because I enjoyed playing them back then, and I wanted to see if I still enjoyed playing them now. And 9 times out of 10, I did.
Radicus would love to give someone else his digital copies.
Look, I'm all for saying that can be a want. But I think that's where it's going to stay.
Yeah.
Look, then they're not going to give us the opportunity to sell, gift, any... Like, if we're moving the digital copies, we're literally saying goodbye to secondhand gaming as we know it. Let's just understand that concept now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'll come.
You don't think so?
Radicus is saying, I own the fuckers. I don't actually think you do.
Well...
You don't really own anything.
No,
you're paying for the privilege to have unlimited access to it.
Yeah, you own the DRM.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, because when you physically buy a game on disc, what you own is that piece of plastic and the case. The actual game itself, you don't own it. You can't reproduce it. You can't do anything with it other than play it yourself. So you don't actually own that stuff. You're paying for the right to have access to it when you want.
As proof with Metal Gear Rising on Mac.
Yes.
Those people own a piece of plastic now. That's all they own.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, you don't own it. So they really do have the right to say whether or not you can on-sell it or not. They don't really have much of a choice. They can't really stop people from on-selling physical copies. So they've sort of just gone with that. Like, they could really cut that and say that's illegal. You can't do that. It's something that's it's a norm. It's accepted, and we're allowed to do it. But it's really at their disposal. So we sold that to you. That is yours to use. You can't on-sell it. You know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange unknown land. But you know what? Regardless of what we get and don't get, the idea of a looming new generation, as a gamer, I get a little bit excited. I get giddy.
What about hardware upgrades?
What do you mean? In what? Like...
Well, going to an SSD drive as opposed to a mechanical drive, or standard being a 4K player, or even no player at all, being an SD card, or like going back to a cartridge sort of setup. Things like that.
I don't think it'll be an SSD. They're still too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And the benefits per dollar, I don't think are there. It is better. They are faster and all that sort of stuff. I look for a faster loading time. I can't see it being value, because if you want to get if you want decent space, like you're going to get 500 gig for, what's that worth these days? $200-300 on an SSD. It's too much.
Yes.
That's almost the price of the console right there.
Yeah, and do you want something to load quicker, or do you want more space to download your games? Because I think I said it for this generation that we need 1 terabyte minimum at launch. We got 500 and it wasn't enough. I'm telling you, if we're not getting... I think we'll probably get a terabyte now in the next generation. But you're still going to need... I think you're going to need 2 terabytes, because I would imagine that the next generation of games are probably going to be a lot larger. We're getting bigger. You know, games have never gotten smaller. They've all progressively gotten larger as storage capacity got bigger. Now we're playing our games predominantly off a hard drive, not an actual disc. Games are going to be 150, 200 gig. We're going to need 2 terabytes.
It does ebb and flow a bit, the size of games. So when you get into a next gen, they tend to spike. But then as the life cycle of the games go, they do start to drop again, because they have better technology for, hiding all the bits and pieces. And they don't try and jam as much in. They try and wow you like they do in the beginning.
Yes, but by the time they get smaller, later in the generation, we've got more games.
Yes.
So we need more space for them.
Yeah, I get that. But then what happens is, as that slows down, they tend to peak again towards the end, because once again they're finding all the ways to maximize everything, and then they're jamming more stuff into the games again, because they've worked out how they can put even more into a game. And you see this like ebb and flow in game sizes, which is when we had that gaming disorder thing the other day, where we were trying to pick the size of the games. The age of the game actually had nothing to do with it, because there was games that were older, that were smaller than some of the newer games, and some of the older and newer ones again were smaller or larger. It was really hard to pick, and it's because I think it was more to do with where it was in the life cycle as opposed to how old it was that kind of dictated that.
Look, just quickly, I want to mention Radicus has said something. Dual drives, that would be good. Having a small SSD to run the OS, so we had things like the store running really quickly, and obviously dashboards and that working really quickly, and then have our games on the standard hard drive. Really good idea, which is how I run my PC, and it runs beautiful, but it's too expensive still. It's not. Yep. It's they're going to have to try and sell these consoles for $500 or $600 Australian. It's not feasible yet to incorporate 2 drives.
I think SSDs, if they're going to be in next gen, they're going to be in the half cycle refresh. It'll be that stage when they're potentially dropped in price.
But look, even with current gen, you can put your own SSD in now if you like, and then put a bigger drive as an external drive. So you can sort of do that. You just have to do it yourself. But anyway, running out of time, so we might start to finish it up there. But
one other thing, Discord card.
Huh? Discord card?
Discord card.
I'm going to throw in another option. I think this is the generation that, because they all want to start game streaming. I honestly think this will be the generation that sets up for streaming, and this possibly might be the last console gen where they then go to a streaming service. That seems to be what everyone's aiming for.
I don't think we're not streaming service yet, because it won't work in most parts of the world. And
this second, no, that's what I'm saying.
This generation, not even for next gen, man. Not even next gen. Not even 3 years.
That's not what I've been reading over the last 2 weeks.
No, I promise you, it won't be a stream. You mean streaming to play your game?
Yeah.
No. They'd be killing off too many of their service, too many of their customer base. They won't be able to sell it in certain countries. It won't happen. It might be an option, but it won't be the only be-all and end-all option. No. There'll still be a drive or a something, like you're saying, like a little cartridge or the memory card or a disc. Me, I don't care. I'd be happy for it to be a little memory card like the Switch. Be happy for that. Just for ease. But Anyway, we'd like to hear anyone's thoughts and opinions. Go across to our Discord or our Facebook page. Leave us some comments on the podcast, and we'll, if you do that, we may refer to them in the future podcast, or we'll just have a conversation on those social media outlets. So that'd be good. All right, let's move on. Oh, just quickly before we move on, next week in Tech Headland, we're going to be talking about virtual reality. So if you're looking forward to that one, make sure you listen to next week. Let's move on to
throw up.
A little bit of vomit. All right, let's go into last words. All right, so the who the f*** said that. Grejio, you all but got it 100% correct. You said it was from The Last of Us?
Was it Ellie?
No.
I had to have a stab. I knew it was from the game. I just couldn't tell you who it was.
No, but do you remember the character Bill?
I do remember Bill.
Yeah, it was Bill. This is the part where they're heading back to Bill's sort of house, which I think is in an abandoned church. Mm-hmm. And as they were going in, Bill says the line, "You know, as bad as those things are, at least they're predictable. It's the normal people that scare me." And I reckon that would probably be 100% correct in a zombie apocalypse. The zombies are predictable. You can easily take them down. They're dangerous, but the humans that can still think and are still greedy, they're the ones you should be worrying about. So, really good line there. But yes, it was from The Last of Us, and it was Bill. Well done to whoever got it.
I've got a contender for love handles this week.
Oh, have you?
Oh, nice little one.
I've got a whole list of love handles. I'm waiting for that segment to come back.
I've just been throwing them in occasionally. On Fortnite on PC, Stanky Quiff.
Yeah, you showed us that one. Stanky Quiff. All right, I've got a couple. Do you want a couple from mine?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, chuck us a couple.
All right, let me find them. Here they are, love handles. I think this one was like a take on one of our old admin members. It was Rootboy69. Good old Rootboy. Then there was Aroused Koala.
Wow.
That was a player in PUBG, that one. But this one was a good one from a YouTube live stream that I was watching. This person by the name of Lewis Spears. I don't even know how I got there. But one of the users was called Quantum Farts.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, they're all some very, very strange. What was that one that you put ages ago? I don't know if we actually used it in the segment, which was like, you were just killed by high school loan or something?
Student loan.
Student loan. Yeah, you were killed by student loan.
Yes.
Yeah. Greg, any last words?
Actually, I do. I have something I want to bring up. We have a gaming segment that we've got that we may have to discuss about changing the name, since this week gaming disorder actually became a recognized mental illness by the World Health Organization.
Yes, I noticed that.
So
kind of makes our gaming bad taste, doesn't it?
It does. So all our current listeners will be like, no, that's all cool. But any new listeners we get might think we're a little bit insensitive.
Yes.
So we may just have to rename that because of that. Thanks, World Health Organization, for screwing us. We appreciate it. I thought it was a clever name. It really was. I really liked the name of it, but I have a funny feeling that's going to have to be changed.
Now I know how she had felt when we had those assholes committing holy war. They had to change their name to Pacifier.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
Yeah, I did notice that this week because I saw that in the title or whatever, gaming disorder. I'm like, hang on, isn't that the name of one of our segments?
Yes. So, watch this space. I'm going to have to come up with an equally as clever name. So, goodbye, gaming disorder. We loved you while you were here.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yep. Oh dear, yes, very good.
But yeah,
very
good that's my
awesome. All right, well, I don't really have anything to add. The more I add, the more I need to edit later. Make myself sound all fancy and stuff. But anyway, all right, let's finish the show. Thank you very much to everybody that has listened to the show, and especially to those of you that are still listening this far along. I think Radicus, it says that you're still there listening. Oh no, it says Grejio is typing, so whatever. But Radicus...
Radicus is still there, yeah.
Thank you,
He's
Radicus.
still there. This week's password?
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel. Yes, we said we weren't going to forget. I forgot. I've got to make a note in here. So let me do that now. Can't spell. There we go. So yes, awesome. Thank you very much to everybody who's still listening. And to all of our listeners, feel free to continue any of the topics that we've had discussed on this show on our Facebook page or our Discord channel. The links are in the podcast show notes and description. It's all from me. Thank you very much. I am Lucas.
Thank you.
I am Grejio.
And I have been Snoogs. Slayers. Peace.
Hey, well, here we are once again at the end of this week's show. If you're still hungry for more video game content, then head over to the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page and give us a like. We also have a heavy presence over on Twitter and YouTube, and their links are waiting for you in the podcast description. This podcast is available for your convenience through Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and more. Thanks again for listening. Catch you all on the next episode of the Aussie Gamers Express Video Game Podcast.